Okay, I am going to assume that we are live with our very next run, Shadow of the Colossus 2018, with FoxyZilla and Hammerclav. Before we get started, a real quick message for you there. No, not you watching live, those at the VOD on YouTube. Are you excited to watch an ESA event after it's done, but wanted to donate as well? Well, have no fear. If you look at the description down below, we have a link to a Tiltify campaign, which is running between ESA events, so you can always donate for an incredible cause. But with that being said, over to you guys. Good luck and have fun.
Yeah, thank you. So, hey everyone, I am FoxyZilla54. With me, co-commentating, I have my wonderful Hammerclav, and yeah.
I run this game?
Yeah, he also runs this game. He's kind of the pariah, god, you may say, of at least kind of all the background knowledge, strats, appearing in everybody else's stream. So he's going to probably correct me a few times if I say something dumb, just because I'm stubborn sometimes, but
yep.
Yeah,
that's my job.
That's his job. He's kind of everywhere. So if you've been in a Shadow Colossus stream or streamed it yourself, he's probably been around lurking at some point. But yeah, not too much to say here. We're going to be running any percent, killing all 16 Colossi with the actual horse riding in between. So that's why it's obviously a little bit longer than our boss rush category. But yeah, I think we're ready to go ahead and get started. Anything else you think, Hammer, before we go?
No.
Awesome. All right, so I think we're ready to go. All right, so countdown. Go start now. Go 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we're going to skip basically all of the major cutscenes in this game, besides the Colossi deaths, because
no story.
No story. There's one cutscene that's not skippable, and some people may or may not know what that is, but we'll leave that as a little bit of a hint at the end. So the first Colossus we go to is Valus. Pretty simple overall. There's a few very quick tricks here that I'm going to try and attempt. The second of the three is a little bit finicky based off of what console and what FPS you're running the game at. So if it takes me a few tries, more than a few tries, I'm sorry. I try my best at it.
If you want to speedrun this game, get a PS4 Pro.
Yeah, if you want to speedrun this game, get a PS4 Pro. That gives you a lot more options. But no.
That's not true, but yeah.
Yeah, I run this game on
particular trick.
Yeah, there's a few tricks that are easier because of 60 FPS and aka having a PS4 Pro, and there are a few tricks that are easier for 30 FPS or a standard PS4. And so there you go, first fail. All right, failing this once or twice isn't super unexpected, but it's kind of a heavy reset point for me at the end of the day, just because it can save about 5 seconds ish. If I get it right, or if I get it completely wrong like this, I can lose quite a bit of time. And the camera itself doesn't help just because it's very, again, it's kind of it's very choppy. And there it is, finally.
Just slow down a little bit. Okay, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, this part is very platforming heavy, this first part.
So that's a relatively new skip that was not introduced.
That one is hard.
Yeah, not recently introduced, but something that another runner discovered that kind of went under the radar. So for Valus, I'm going to kind of shut up here just while I focus on performing the skip.
Okay, here, he's going to slash the lag to make the cutscene start. And you can see it in actually a few of the cutscenes in the game. You can move the character. So that's what he does here. Just gets to the head immediately. And voila.
Yep. Pretty simple Colossus overall. What you saw me doing running up to Valus, and I actually went to go split because I'm so heavily used to it, is I was doing whistle running or whistle jumping. So the fastest form of movement in this game is to do like a little short hop, and then to make sure that Wander, the main character, doesn't stumble upon landing on the ground, you can either switch weapons or whistle to kind of force him into a running animation and kind of keep your speed without having to decelerate at all. So,
which is not to get used to. I see a lot of beginner players struggle a bit with the movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's alternative forms of movement as well that are slightly faster, but I'm just so used to doing it now, and the control scheme that I use, as well as being on 30 FPS, it isn't as fast than just being consistent at whistle jumping and running, especially for how much you do at the end of the day. It's like overall over the course of the entire run, it's going to be like save me a second or two. So next up is Quadratus. Personally, my least favorite Colossus to speedrun, just because it's.
I was going to say, what?
Yeah, it's my least favorite Colossus to run, just in general.
I love this Colossus.
Just because I'm bad at it. That's the short of it. Like, I'm not good when it comes to doing this Colossus.
But you gotta admit, like, this skip right here is one of the coolest.
Yeah, a lot of the skips that we do for any percent.
One of the coolest new skips.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of fun to look at runs in the original PS2 version or PS3 versions of this game versus what we do today, just because of the added geometry in the remake that allow us to kind of circumvent a lot of the, I guess, slower strats that we did use in the beginning. And it's interesting to see. So Bluepoint did a very great job with this game overall, so we're very happy to have it. So this is
here you'll see.
No, I'll shut up and let you talk.
You'll see a strat that's new for this version of the game. In the original PS2 and PS3 release, you just like jumped down, and that was it. But in this version, I won't spoil it. You'll see it. Yep. Okay, there you go. You can actually jump directly on the Colossus.
Yep. So we just circumvent everything and kind of hop on quad super quickly. I tend to prefer to go for the butt sigil first, just because it's a little bit easier to kind of mirror the boss rush category that I'm much more used to. And also, if you go to the head first, or if you're not quick enough, you can kind of get locked into... I don't think I got a plant here. You can get locked into the head shakes for quad. Yep, so no plant. But...
yeah, there's so much going on. That's difficult to explain.
Yeah, so no plant there. That's okay. But not much time lost. We'll just do a jump stab here to wrap it up. Cool.
To get really good at this game, you have to understand all these little things that are going on.
Yep. So to kind of get into some of the mechanics that we'll be kind of talking about and just casually referencing throughout most of the run. So when I said plant there, basically a plant is a stab, I don't say animation, but it's where Wander is locked into the Colossus, where he's, grabbed onto and can't be shaken off without being like completely 180 or like just, yeah, basically the thing you got to know is you can't be shaken out of that grab. And so there are some Colossi where we want to plant, such as Quad's head, because when he shakes his head from left to right, we can continue stabbing, saves a lot of time. But there are other Colossi where what we want to do is called the cycle stab, and that basically is where we get a stab, and then immediately, because Wander gets shaken out of it, we can let go and re-grab and immediately start stabbing again. So you'll see it kind of used back and forth on the next Colossus. It generally isn't always good to always have a plant for every sigil on a Colossus, but, kind of easy to go through. So we've got some... we've got some downtime here. We can do a couple, if you have anything to read off with this horse section. I can keep talking, otherwise we can, hear some donations or anything.
Well, we don't have any donations, I'm afraid, but I trust our lovely chat here are going to get to it, especially when we're only $125 away from $16,000 raised for Save the Children. Here's a little something that could entice you, perhaps, to getting some donations in. The very next run after this one, Spyro Reignited Spyro 2, there's a bid war for that, the music choice. And the two options are original music or the reignited music. Jesus, don't play with fire, kids. The two options here, original is in the lead with $234. Reignited is lagging behind with $132. So just over $100 into it, so get those donations in. With those $125, you could just push Reignited into the lead, so why not do that? So go for it. Anyway, back to you guys.
Yeah, so Zik3 is running that Spyro run, and he's a good friend of mine, so definitely donate and watch his run. He's a great guy, so I'll definitely be watching once I'm done here. But yeah, so next Colossus we're coming up on is Gaius. Gaius is kind of like the flashy Colossus for anybody who really doesn't know this game very well or understands the mechanics of it. Yeah. Super fun Colossus. This is one of my favorite tricks, and actually one of the earlier tricks that I learned in the game. So it's, yeah, I'll let it speak for itself for the most part. But yeah. One thing that a lot of people don't realize that I'll speak to is, so you kind of saw that when when Algro, the horse, was running through that little rocky section earlier, I really didn't run into any walls or have any trouble going through it. A lot of casual players don't realize that if you just hold down the ride button or the go button for Agro, she will actually auto path herself through most like rocky terrain. The geometry that I was talking about earlier is sort of it can be a little bit of a hindrance from time to time, especially in the remake here. But, you know, we kind of circumvent a lot of that as best we can. So I'm going to...
Remember the 2 arrows?
2 arrows, yes. So we're going to show off something here, but I'm going to be quiet while I do this skip just because it's a little bit... I only get 1 try on any percent if I miss it, basically, and resetting it is a little bit of a nightmare, so...
And
I didn't... I went into autopilot while I was talking, so I didn't do 2 arrows.
Well,
so
that's ruined.
Yeah, that's ruined. I can probably get it though.
Like this. Yeah, you can try.
Nice. Okay. Yeet. Big eat for the big boy, and I messed up almost. Ooh, that was spooky. Getting on. That's a little scary. Yep. Yeah. So it the thing that sucks right there, and what actually happened is, so if Wander gets stuck and lines up on Gaius's ear like that, it basically ruins the cycle that I'm trying to go for, and so we're just gonna reset it and go from there. That's kind of disappointing. It rarely happens anymore, but like I said, if I get stuck on that, I can basically fall off. So that's why I kind of did a little bit of panic strats there, trying to...
It's not the worst recovery.
Yeah, it's not the worst recovery, but it does obviously lose a little bit of time. So I only needed like a little bit of a half stab there, and thankfully Gaius... that was not the best save. So we're going to do cycle stabs here.
As long as you don't fall.
Yeah, as long as I don't fall, that's the big thing. So I'm going to try and do cycle stabs here, but you can get a plant on the belly, which is typically Gaius's hardest. There we go. So you get to see this here. Whoa, hello.
Yep.
So right there, I killed Gaius with a slash. In the 2018 version, as long as you have a sliver of health on a Colossus left, and, you know, you've killed the other sigil or done enough damage to it to kill the Colossus, you can actually slash to get an immediate cutscene trigger so that you don't waste any extra time in like I don't want to say the cutscene animation, or the death animation, but it's a cool little trick that's convenient in some places, but kind of hard to pull off overall, and generally it's sort of I'll call it a panic strat or something that you kind of just do on a whim, but it's pretty fun. Hammer and I kind of came up with that together, and Hammer was the first one to really actually utilize it on Gaius, actually, to get an IL world record. So that's pretty cool. So
you know, you gotta have that 0.5 second save.
Yeah,
it's absolutely vital.
Yeah, the ILs in this game are heavily optimized and super fun to watch. So if this game is just suspense because I could mess up a trick at any time, the ILs are more of just absolute craziness that you couldn't think that you would do with this game. So speaking of the game just saying no, there are points where if I try to pull off a trick that just like the slightest deviation from any sort of like standard thing that I'm doing can cause a mess up, or you know, me to fall off of a Colossus. So while it's not the best, it's certainly expected in this game that the game will sometimes just say no, and you just kind of have to deal with that and move on. So it's a tough game to run, just because although we try to make it as consistent as possible, it's not 100% the same every time. So
I'm sure people who played it know. Like I see a lot of people dropping this game because of that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's a tough thing to get over, but once you can kind of realize it and overcome it, it's a big thing to go for.
tough to play and it's tough to run, but it's
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah, it's very rewarding whenever you do get it done. So next up we have Phaedra, the llama Colossus, or a little meme inside the community. We call it a dragon, even though it's
Totally
definitely
a dragon.
totally a dragon, 100% a dragon. So one thing I'll explain here is you'll see me in some sections. I'm going to do what's called a quick start, where I kind of rear aggro back and hopefully don't get immediately turned around. But I'll rear aggro back and get to full speed. That's a pretty poor pathing right there, very unlucky. So where I'll
Very
rear
spicy
aggro,
aggro memes.
yes, spicy aggro memes. I'll rear aggro back and try to get up to full speed immediately, because just walking slow with aggro really sucks a lot, and you can kind of circumvent that slowness and based on the geometry around you by. Oh, I went a little bit early there. Yeah, we're good.
I don't want to mess you up.
That's fine. All right, so this is not great.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, didn't get shakeless, sadly. I was in a poor spot, but there's a way. Okay, Phaedra, thank you. There's a way
I'm sure this
to.
a lot of pain, so this is nice.
There's a way to get on Phaedra here, so that like you see her rearing back and kind of looking at you. But there's a way to make sure that this shake doesn't happen, and it's sort of it's finicky and sort of hard to pull off from time to time. But I've got a pretty good method for getting it consistently. And so one thing you kind of saw there is I was actually locked in a plant animation on what I'll call a minor sigil, which is one thing that we saw in Valis, where I slashed the leg with a jump and then stabbed it again to get to the head easily. And those are just ways to like basically unlock new sections in the puzzles of the Colossi. And so there's a few different control schemes, that were introduced in the newer version of this game for newer players, just because the classic controls themselves are a little wonky. This game, although I think one of the, like as Hammer mentioned, newer players struggle with some things. The controls aren't the best, but they are what I would say the best for what they could be, just because like it's a PS2 era game. Really, it's supposed to be sort of not inconsistent, but you're controlling a small human trying to stab big things. So at the end of the day, it shouldn't be easy, and it shouldn't be 100% consistent to kind of make sure that you're always on the Colossus. So yep, that's Phaedra down. Some
It adds
people
to the charm of the game, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It adds to the charm. So yeah, so up next is big memes. I'm gonna go for.
Yeah, I was about to say this run is going pretty well. So
yeah,
it's time to mess it up.
Yeah, it's time for a mess up. So there's an IL strat that is, in Hammer's terms, very consistent, but to everybody else in the community, pretty risky to go for in a full game marathon run. But I've practiced it a decent amount. I think I can pull it off. It's not too bad. It's just more of like a feel thing, which is a lot of this game. Is there isn't really like a direct do this at exactly this point, more or less. It's just, oh, when you see this kind of generic thing happen, then press these buttons. So makes it, again, adds to that inconsistency, but more of like, getting used to the game and having like a natural, understanding of what you need to do next to make sure that you keep yourself in the right positioning.
It's very feel based. I think pretty much everyone does it differently.
It's hard to explain things sometimes, just because what goes on in my head and how I would explain it is a complete 180 from how somebody else would explain it. And so it takes a little bit of a village to teach new people, because in explaining, somebody might say it and again, it might come across as complete a complete foreign language, and then somebody else says it in a slightly different manner and it comes off perfectly and they execute it next try. So
actually, speaking of that, recently there's a guy in our community that made a bunch of tutorial videos.
Sick flips! All right, sorry.
Whoa, nice.
All right.
Yeah, so his name is StickTack. So if you want to learn this game, he made a lot of videos for that. Yeah. And one of the tricks is this next one that you're going to see.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. I'll give myself a few tries just so we don't lose too much time, and so we can kind of keep moving forward. So here again, I'll do a lot of weapon switching, just to again keep my speed. But go ahead.
So Foxy, is this game very RNG heavy? You say?
Oh, we're getting into a little argument now. So this game overall isn't super RNG heavy. It's very much so positioning based, but Avion is kind of a little bit of a contention point because people want to believe that. Well, I'll explain after. I kind of need to focus right here. So I'll keep myself quiet while I do this trick.
We'll talk later. Okay. I'll stay quiet for this because it's pretty hard.
Yeah. Yo! Alright.
Whoa, nice. First try. So yeah, you can jump.
Oh no! Okay. That was almost super good.
God. Yeah, that was scary. Okay, backup strat. Let's go.
Yeah, so the preferred way to do that is to literally jump stab the first wing and then just fling yourself over to the second wing. I almost got a good transition right there. What's funny actually is that the harder strat of the two, I would say, is not actually doing the jump stab on the wing, but it's actually the transition, just because it's a little bit it's hard to tell exactly how far you're going to get flung at the end of the day, and it's extremely variable. So that was actually almost a really good fling to the other wing, but I just barely hit the spines on Avion. So I'm super happy that I got that trick, especially first try. Hammer told me earlier that I was gonna miss it the first time, so I proved him wrong.
GG. GG, my guy.
Yeah, GG,
yeah,
boys.
so we're saying this. Foxy the Ninth.
RNG.
This is the first Colossus with RNG. You cannot deny that.
I'm denying it. I'm denying it. I've gone back and forth in the past. I've had my faith shaken. I at first thought there was no RNG, but
chat, what you have to know is that Foxy's a flatter in this game.
I'm super stubborn. That's all you need to know. Is
sure.
There are some parts of the game where I was flat out refused to do differently for, I wouldn't say months, but for a pretty long time. That could have been easy time saves, and finally I caved into a couple of them, and I currently hold the world record in this category. I actually got a PB last night and a new world record, but I scuffed it pretty hard, I will say, and went from like a 55-second time save down to a 12-second time save. So this game can eat you up and spit you out pretty easily at any point. So the nerves are pretty strong. But yeah,
that was on the last Colossus, right?
Say again?
That was on the last Colossus too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it was on the last Colossus I lost that, which is super disappointing. But it happens. Time save for next run. But yeah. Alrighty, so next up we have Barba. There's actually a pretty cool any percent skip that was, I would say, recently resurfaced from kind of its days back in the PS3 version, where it's kind of like one of the few glitches in the game that we get to use. And I actually made a video on it. It's pretty simple to execute. You just gotta have a slightly decent, monitor or TV to view it. But as long as you have that, you're good to go. And so this is one of those areas where it's actually very different from the PS2 version. In the PS2 version, this forest is basically just like a giant foggy area with like nothing in it. And then in the 2018 version, they added all these trees and stuff, which makes aggro run around super slow. So I do a few quick starts there to kind of quickly go myself through. And it doesn't seem like much, but it saves me at least like 15 to 20 seconds of just like, slow time saves in, not platforming, but just movement in general. So, yeah. Whew. So yeah, I'm actually super stoked that I got that skip first try.
For like out second.
Oh, sorry, Homer.
I'm back.
Cool. Alrighty. So yeah, lots of horsing around in this game. Oh god, that was such a bad joke. Why did I just say that? I'm sorry, chat. I apologize.
Oh god, I did not hear it.
I'm sorry. My jokes are the worst.
I guess I'll just watch back the VOD.
Yeah, the VOD's gonna roast me. Did he just say horsing around in this game?
Oh no.
All right.
Do we have a moment for a donation or two?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Sorry, I seem to have had a couple of issues the past minute or so, but yeah, I think we're back. So we have a $5 donation from C1, and they only say C1 here. Hi, C1.
What's up, Thar? Hello.
Thank you very much for your donation, and keep those coming. We're so close to 16K. Let's.
All right. And you'll see a lot of times we're just gonna yeet Wander off of things. He's got enough health. He's absorbed the spirits or whatever of like several big boys. He's got legs of steel. Legs of steel. Hands of the gods. Can grab onto anything. But we'll talk about in-game time versus real-time after this, but we're watching this cutscene for a specific reason, and it actually doesn't count towards my end time, which is great. So, in here.
And he got it. Nice. So yeah, if you skip the cutscene at a very specific time, you can warp immediately on the Colossus beard. It's a trick that only works on 90%. And it's not that new anymore, like, we've been using it for a while now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that we use for many Colossi, just because they're... I guess the best way to say it is, it's kind of lucky that Barba, we warp straight to the head. A few other Colossi have skips in them. Oh, that's rough. I almost got a really good Barba back. Barba's back is a really meme part of the run, just because he can walk around a lot and kind of cause you to shake a ton, and yeah, you can lose a lot of time to this sigil, even though there's not many stabs to it. But as I was saying earlier, so we calculate the endgame time for all categories, except for a few of the longer ones, such as Platinum percent, in-game time, because it kind of normalizes the amount of time that... it normalizes the times across all consoles, because there are load time differences between a standard PS4, a PS4 Pro, and as well as you have an SSD running the game. So I have both a Pro and an SSD, so my load times are relatively quick, and so it's
I'm a PS4 standard pleb.
Yeah, so we definitely want to make sure that everybody has a good chance at getting good times. So yeah.
Yeah, we made the switch to IGT like over a year ago, I think.
Yeah, it was about I think it was like the end of 2018 that we made the switch, because I believe so Church Neo, now known as Gooperman, who did the latest GDQ run at AGDQ 2019 with the boss rush. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, he ran boss rush. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Well, maybe about game time in boss rush.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Like that he was the one.
Yeah,
Church Neo was the one that that heavily tested the IGT too.
It was. Yeah, he spent so much time testing it and figuring out exactly how it was calculated. And so, anytime you're in a cutscene or in a menu, or you don't have control of Wander, IGT doesn't tick up. So that's kind of the biggest thing to note overall for the game itself. So yeah, that's something I do a lot. I lose my train of thought very often. Go ahead.
IGT is that it goes at like 90% speed of real time, something like that.
Yeah.
So if 10 seconds pass in RTA in real time, IGT will only count 9 seconds. So that's why all of our tests were like all over the place at first, until we understood that.
Yep.
And then it all fell into place.
But yeah, so one kind of thing to mention here, as I kind of come up to it, you won't see it too often, hopefully, because I've kind of tried to plan out my aggro riding routes to avoid them. There are certain places where aggro all of a sudden just kind of slows down and stops, even though she'll sometimes jump over things, or there's like nothing in front of you. And so planning out aggro routing to make sure that I'm always at full speed all the time is kind of it's not a huge deal, but you know, we try to save as much time as we can.
Yeah, actually, you can lose a ton of time on the aggro sections.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. We figured out that going to one of the later Colossi, it saves you 20 seconds in real time to do quick starts and quick stops instead of just consistently riding through the entire section. So it's kind of nuts, like how far those optimizations will go.
Here you're taking like a very specific path.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right, to not make her slow down.
Yep. So this is a lot of people, again, because of just how people feel in the game, a lot like folks will take different routes that work for them, and this is just the route I've memorized. So I'm coming up on this little hill, and I'm going to turn left right before that crest rock, and then I'm not going to slow down. Now, I will slow down right before I get off of these steps to Hydrus' arena, which is the eel boss. I'll give a warning, because we stop by the Shadow of the Colossus Reddit a lot, and I've actually seen a lot of people that say they can't finish the game because this boss is just an eel in a giant deep dark lake. So if you have one of those, if you are afraid of that, I would suggest looking away for a solid hopefully 30 seconds. This upcoming skip is kind of finicky to pull off if Hogger let me go.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't be the hardest.
Yeah.
Skip in 90%.
Yeah, it's fairly precise. So kind of shush while I do this.
I don't even know how to explain it, honestly.
Okay.
So basically you want to be in a very specific place with a very specific timing, and we have a setup for that, but like Foxy said, it's very finicky.
Yeah, it
should
be fine. It's a lot of just like analyzing your environment and weird counting. Let's say that. So
what you usually do is grab the tail. But did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Nice.
Yeah, he's gonna grab the head immediately. And you do that by jump stabbing in the water. So jump stabbing is the move where you jump and you like do a downward stab. And
nice.
Yes, you can do it on the water. It's a thing. And that's what happens.
Yeah, that skip saves about 50 seconds in any percent. Actually, funnily enough, in my PB yesterday, I didn't get the skip, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm currently trying to go for a goal of sub 1 hour in game time, which basically now will require this skip going forward. I'll try to explain it a little bit, but it's kind of hard without seeing the screen itself. But there's a series of pillars that we kind of aim ourselves for. I wait for Hydrus to pass one, and then I swim towards the other pillar, and then I count the number of like swim animations that Wander does going towards it. It's super weird.
You sound like a crazy
Yeah,
person.
I sound like a crazy man. Like, here, I'm counting swim animations, like, just so I can go do this skip here. And it's nuts. For boss rush, we actually, because it has a timer in the top right corner, we just use the timer to know when we have to start swimming and stop swimming. But here, we're kind of using like the earliest strats that we knew, which was just kind of go in a direction and hopefully you stop at the right time to figure it out. So yeah, I definitely sound like a crazy person explaining that, but yeah, definitely one of the more, I won't say random, but a Colossus that can just, go either way, and you try to have the most control over it as you can. But I think the hardest thing right now is that a bit of a meme in the community is people tend to skip Colossi or go to the wrong Colossi. So I just had a little bit of a panic attack in my head because I forgot which Colossi I was on, and then I went to look for my splits, and the splits weren't there, and I got very scared for like a half second. So I've done it a few times, just going to the wrong Colossus. I've actually done it terribly at least once, where I was on the 10th Colossus. I was supposed to go fight the 10th Colossus, and I just went straight to the 12th one, and I got to the arena for the 12th Colossus, and I go, wait,
Classic.
I'm on the wrong Colossus, and then I just ended my stream for the night. I was like, yep, I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm done here. So, little memes like that here and there, just, even we forget what we're doing from time to time, so pretty fun.
Because you just go on autopilot and
yep.
you get to the Colossus, you're like, oh, nice.
Whoops. Yeah, especially if you're kind of resetting heavily at one Colossus. you tend to
Yeah,
kind
then
of be
you
like,
cry.
yeah, then you cry, and then I think a few times I've gone the wrong way to Gaius just because I've reset so many times going to Quadratus that I just naturally go that direction, and then I'm like, oh wait, I actually just beat him, you know, less than 30 seconds ago. Why am I still going here? So it's pretty fun times, but yeah. So coming up on this section,
A lot of people, a lot of people miss this cave. I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but
yeah,
when they first play, they
Finding
go
this-
around the mountain. They're like, where do I go?
Yeah, why do I have to
What's
go
that?
to the mountain? Where is the hole? Yeah, it's that cave on like really any version of this game is super hard to find. But so as I was talking about earlier, I was super stubborn in this little section here. I used to take there's a little lake here that I refused to admit that was slower.
But you saw the truth, right?
Yeah.
You came around.
Yeah, and so at one point I was like, "Screw it, I'm going the other way" because you guys told me to, and then I proceeded. I can't remember if I PB'd or not, but I definitely like saved about 20 seconds from swimming, and I saw the light and realized that I should probably stop being so stubborn and just actually admit that other people are right, which kind of makes me sound like a dick, but I mean, I came around. It's cool. Yeah. So one
That
thing
place is beautiful, by the way. Like,
it is definitely one of the better like it's
gorgeous. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the better like pieces of this game and how like Blue
If you
Point
play this game, take some time to just look around and just take it all in.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Okay, coming up, it's actually one of my favorite Colossi. I don't know about you, but
Kuro for me is like like as long as it's not hard mode, I don't care. Oh no, Kuro. Okay,
so the strat here is to whistle at the start, so you can get him to climb.
No, I missed the arrows because I'm bad.
American sniper.
American sniper, Foxy. All right, so he's a little bit lower than I want him to be, but this is okay. I should be fine on time as long as I get my cycle stabs.
Is not too bad.
Yeah, as long as I get my cycle stabs here, it's fine. Oops, let's position myself. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't get.
That was okay.
I did almost got memed really bad. All right, I'm just not gonna go for the jump stab here. Oh, I did get memed. Okay, that was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened.
Yeah, that was weird.
We'll take it.
I got it. That's okay. Yeah, we call it meme stabbing whenever you get a full stab off and you don't do any damage to the Colossus. It's really sad when it happens, and it can really send you into panic mode because you're like, what did I just do?
This game hitboxes are pretty wonky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you paid attention to on Avion, if you paid attention to Avion's tail, I was nowhere near the sigil, and I was doing like full damage, no problem. Some other Colossi, you have to be like within a very tight square of the sigil. All right, so Kuromori, I gotta go to Basaran. Okay, I gotta like talk to myself now about where I need to go. But yeah, the sigils can be pretty tight overall. Oh, you know what I forgot to say earlier is, use your money to vote for who your favorite Colossus is. Because that's obviously something everybody needs to know.
I can tell you one thing. This next Colossus won't win. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure people can tell us their favorite Colossi with a donation. And
Yeah.
I can read it on screen.
Yeah, use your money. Tell us what your favorite Colossus is. Voice your opinions.
If your favorite Colossus is the next one, please do say. Because that's gonna be a nice surprise, I'm sure. Because everyone hates.
This is everybody's least favorite Colossus casually. This and Celosia are like top 2 least favorite Colossi. Easy.
Not for me personally. I actually love this one.
Yeah. Well, if I will do a shameless plug for Hummer and the IL for this Colossus. If you watch what I'm about to do versus what he does in the IL, like it will blow your mind, and it's absolutely insane. The movement and the stabs that he gets, like it's nuts. Definitely one of the cooler Colossi to watch and appreciate. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. What can I say?
It's certainly a fun Colossus
think
to get the skip for. Like once you kind of get the timing down, it's very tight.
The arena is great. Like
overall. The arena's pretty cool, but Basaran can go die in it because I'm gonna kill him. Is that mean to say? Yeah, who's the bad guy in the story? It's Wander. Everybody knows it. Like these dudes are just chilling out and having a good time. The Colossi did nothing wrong.
So actually, I kind of hope that you mess up here because the
No.
backup strat. Yes.
I don't want to mess up.
I take that back. I'll explain the backup strat if you don't mess up. Come on. You can do it. So
Yep.
here,
You cursed me.
ooh,
My own co-commentator
Nice.
cursed me. All right. So
it was actually on purpose.
yeah,
We planned this out.
we
in
planned this out from the
advance.
beginning. Yeah.
So the backup strat for this is go die in a ditch.
Yeah. We
Nice.
just jump off a cliff. It's cool. Hopefully, I get some more sick flips. I think it'd be sort of fun to do that. Sick flips.
This is actually
There we go.
it actually doesn't lose that much time.
Yeah.
Because like we mentioned before, we use in-game time, and so if you kill yourself, you don't lose that much in-game time. It's as simple as that.
Yep. This is kind of awkward. There we go. So there's a
What do you
specific
do?
setup that we use here that is actually mirrors the. I did it again. I think I'm jumping a little bit too late, and Agro keeps getting knocked over. All right.
Yeah, it seems like you're doing something weird with the side jump.
Yeah, that's fine. So we get to do it again. It's actually a pretty tough skip at the end of the day. Actually, not the skip that I thought I would mess up in relation to everything else, but it can happen. So that's no big deal. Can
Have
actually.
we seen a side jump skip yet, or is this the first?
Mm.
This is the first, right?
The side jump skip? What do you mean?
Yeah, like the physics jump, like the big momentum.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, this is the first time we've actually gone through, like... Yeah.
So I'll try to explain it. So basically, when you grab a ledge, you can jump either on the side or backwards or up. And if you charge your side jump like very, very little, like the tiniest that you can do, you'll actually do this big momentum jump.
Yeah, so that's the first, just like Hammer said, that's like the big, we have a couple of those like momentum jumps where we're kind of on a ledge, and because we're, literally being lifted up by something so giant, it just kind of launches Wander in the air. So that's how it's supposed to look, and I should get that first try every time, but, I did, so that's cool, right?
As long as it works.
As long as it works, I don't care. But yeah. And so here's another plant. I can kind of just sit here and let Basaran... Oh, I lost the plant! Oh no! I eat my own words, chat. Alright, that's fine. You can just sit here and not get the plant, because you're silly.
Third time's the charm.
What are you talking about? I got the first try.
Of course.
Of course. Of course.
I saw nothing.
You saw nothing, chat. Alright. And you'll see a lot of the times I'm actually running towards the tendrils because, again, in-game time, I have control of Wander, so I need to... The closer I get to them, the more time I'm saving, rather than having them have to, fly towards me. So... Okay. So Basaran's down. Only a couple hiccups.
Dirge time.
Time for Dirge. Dirge. I think Dirge is a Colossus that, like, if you're a casual player, isn't super hard to figure out, but once you do figure it out, it's like a big revelation of like, oh, hey, they finally did this one thing that I've been thinking about this entire time. And I won't spoil it, but we'll see.
Yeah, it was like that for me. This is actually, I'd say, my favorite.
Your
Colossus.
favorite. Poor choice. Sorry, that's the wrong choice. Chat, if your favorite Colossus is Dirge, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to veto
Chat,
your
tell me,
opinion.
tell me how wrong I am, chat.
Yeah. Or
I
tell
don't
him
know,
how
it's-
right he is, and I'll just disagree with you. And have it all known for the VOD.
It's just everything, the music, the arena, and the fight itself.
Yeah, that is one thing to say, though. Dirge does have special music compared to the rest of the Colossi, right? Like, his isn't reused.
Yeah, Dirge and the last boss have unique themes. I wonder why they chose Dirge.
Yeah, Dirge is just an awkward one. It's like, why does Dirge get the unique
Get the
theme? But
special treatment.
yeah.
Yeah, because they realized it was the greatest.
It's Ueda's favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, this
Beautiful
is
green pastures.
Yeah, rolling hills, all this stuff going on, and I'm definitely not making people motion sick by doing that with the camera. Now, one thing like I said before, with the geometry, there's lots of little invisible walls because some of the geometry is just much larger than it seems. So if I ever take like, if I ever just take like large like loops around things or like giant circles, you'll know. So I could take this turn a lot tighter, but actually this little ridge I'm coming up to on my right where the hawk is, it has a giant invisible wall in it. And more than a few times I've gotten myself stuck on that. And while it's not a huge time loss, it's just more of one of those things that just like adds to the frustration levels. It makes me moan and complain and scream while I'm running this game. So, yeah.
I guess I can try to explain the next strat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty tight one cycle. You have 2 weak points, and once you finish the first one, the Colossus goes back into the sand. Spoiler, it's a sandy Colossus. And so what you need to do for the speedrun strat is finish like 49%, no, 99% of the first weak point's total health, and then move on without destroying it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty tight. You have to be very precise with that.
Yeah, we haven't talked very much about like stabs and other things in the game so far, and like charging your stamina. So that might be a good thing to explain as I do this.
So if you watch like the stamina circle, the yellow stamina circle, you can see like the charge of your stab, like how much powerful it is. And what Fox is gonna try to do is gonna try to do a very specific amount of power in each stab, so he can get to that 99% health of the weak point. Yeah, you'll probably see him like lean into to the screen, so you can see it better. So you can.
I hit a sigil with my arrow.
Wait, what?
I hit a sigil with my arrow. I messed up the cycle and I missed a sigil. So the awkward thing here is that you can turn too tight, and there are these giant pillars that are in the way.
I don't think I've ever seen you do that.
I haven't. I might have just screwed up my cycle, so we'll see if I get the one cycle here. If not, there you go.
It should be easier, right?
I don't know.
I mean,
all right, let's
I
not.
guess.
We'll see. I'm a little bit worried here now that I've done this. I can't believe I've done this. All right, let's see. Okay. Swag strat. Hey, swag strat.
Yeah. That's what the pros do.
Let's see. I think that's okay. I understabbed just a little bit, but
that looks good. Yes. Okay, so if he got it, he should kill it now. Let's see.
I don't think I got it. Oh, I did. Whoo, that was so close.
Okay.
That was super close. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. That was.
Sketch. But...
Well. Yeah. So the puzzle there is that Dirge's eyes are just absolutely ginormous, and you're actually supposed to shoot them with the arrows. And I remember as a kid playing this on the PS2, I looking at Gaius, like, trying to shoot him, and I'm like, why can't I just shoot his eyes? Like, that makes, like, why isn't that a thing? And then, I don't know, it's kind of cool that they added it in as a mechanic later, and once you realize, like, my head exploded, I thought I had, like, a galaxy brain or something, whenever I figured this puzzle out. Which I'm not the most galaxy brained all the time, but, you know, I'm here. I'll make it work.
Do we have a moment for a quick message?
Oh, we sure do.
Excellent. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a sponsor of this event, Wavy the Rocket, and its developers, Upper Room Games. They have a special challenge for everybody. If you get the game, record yourself speedrunning it, and get a time of under an hour and submit that to the leaderboards under the Wavy Dash category, then Upper Room Games will donate $10 to Save the Children. If 20 of you manage to do that by the 28th of June, that's an additional $50, and it just keeps going on from there. What's even better? Well, until the end of this event, on the Humble store, this game is 25% off. So get on it, buy that game, get yourself a new speed game, and get a sub-hour time so we can get some money in for Save the Children. That's a pretty cool deal if I do say so myself. I mean, I've played it, and it's pretty cool. But anyway, back to you guys.
Yeah, chat, listen to your overlords and go buy Wavy the Rocket. Alright, so next up is Celosia. I actually skipped a Colossus in my brain when I was talking about Basaran, about most hated casual Colossi. This one, I think, sort of takes the cake alongside Basaran, just because you get a stick and you don't know what to do with it. But speaking of, like, again, these sequence breaks that we're doing for some of these Colossi, such as Quadratus and Gaius, where we're just kind of launching ourselves and kind of skipping the puzzle itself, or skipping some of the arenas. This one's pretty cool. There's a giant pit where Celosia is centered at, and we kind of just say, no, we're not going to go down the pit. We can just jump directly to, like, the first base arena that he's in. Now, hopefully I get this. It's not super hard, but there is, again, more memes. There's a specific rock that I can land on my way down, and I'm kind of locked in place on that rock for quite a while if I can try to either roll myself out, and it just loses a ton of time. I actually only recently discovered it about less than a week ago. I was on a very good pace of a run, and then all of a sudden I landed on this rock, and then I proceeded to learn about it from everybody else in the community. So it's lots of little things that can go wrong here for at least a longer run in comparison to the boss rush category. So, all right, here we go. More yeet. Oh, here we go. Okay. Got it. Nice. So yeah, you just yeet off. Use,
very good.
Yeah, use Wander's steel legs, and hop into the arena.
Yeah. This is something you can attempt yourself.
Yeah, very easy to do casually. Or try. Okay.
But also very easy to mess up in a run.
Yes.
Especially if it's world record pace.
Yes. What's funny is that if you miss that skip, it loses you about 20 seconds of real time. So as simple as it seems, it actually does incorporate quite the time save for us. So, alright. A cool little skip here. We kind of just, instead of having to corral Celosia over to this little section, we just have him knock us off, and, you know, sacrifice Wander's safety and health to go fast, because, you know, Wander's more concerned about...
We have a need for speed.
Yeah, we have a need for speed, and I didn't get the jump stab. No, that's actually pretty sad. There's a pretty cool little trick here. That's very odd. And sometimes you can get a sound glitch where it doesn't actually play the last sound. It happens from time to time.
I wonder why you missed the jump step.
I don't know. I think I was a little bit too close to the side of the fur. I'm not sure. That was very weird. But, you know, hey, weird things happen.
Watch it back, I don't know.
Yeah. That's not something I haven't seen before. Like, as much as speedrunners love it.
It's janky enough so you can, like, every time something like this happens, you can safely say, yep.
That's never happened before.
That's never happened before, but I believe it. Like,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
add it to the meme list.
Yeah, the list goes on forever and ever. All right, so up next we have Pelagia, who I think everybody can agree in at least our small community, is probably the memeiest Colossus overall. Let's see if I can grab a dove. I grabbed a dove! Okay. Sorry, small meme, small meme. When I was first learning to run this game, I was trying to save time minimally by jumping on aggro. So instead of just, running up to aggro and climbing up on her and quick starting, you can actually just jump straight on her and do a quick start. And so it saves like maybe a second overall if you're optimal about it. And so those doves are there, and actually instead of jumping on an aggro, you'll just casually jump on a dove. And so I kept doing that in my first few attempts of running the game, and I finally got over my stubbornness, as I mentioned before, and just decided to run up to aggro and hop on her. So, again, one of the more, wonderful-looking scenes in the game, straight out of a Bob Ross painting.
Oh, and did you know, Foxy, that each time you kill a Colossus, another dove appears? That's pretty interesting.
That's pretty neat, yeah. I did know that.
Fact.
Fun fact. Yeah, so as there are lights in the sky that represent all of the Colossi, there's no Colossi that way, but you can see those little pillars of light. They actually show you where the dead Colossi are in the game, and I actually need to look where I'm going. And for every Colossi you've killed, there's an extra dove there, up to 15, because the game ends at the 16th Colossus. So fun fact, there are 16 Colossi in this game, so... But yeah. And here, Agro's auto pathing is super nice.
There were many more originally.
Yeah, I think there were, in original concepts, there were, somewhere along the lines of, 40-ish, right? Colossi that were planned for the game. And then, oh, yes, a tree. Thank you, tree. I appreciate that. I wanted to give
that would have been way too much.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been quite overloaded, constantly running into Colossi like that.
As a speedrunner, I would enjoy it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it'd be lots of fun.
Fights, but...
Yeah, I think they whittled it down to 20-something at
24.
the end. 24, and then the last
and then
8. Yeah, the last 8 got cut. I think due to time constraints mostly, right? And then we have the 16 that we have today. And so this section here is the main section that I was talking about earlier, where literally just stopping and quick starting on aggro here will save you 20 seconds of just generic time going through all of this. It's kind of weird to think, because I'm stopping my movement. Why would that be faster? But aggro running is the bigger thing here that we want. So
yeah, they made her go slow in certain sections, because it would be too dangerous for a horse to gallop at full speed.
Yeah, aggro does have very unique, I would say unique controls, but it definitely feels like a horse at the end of the day.
Yeah, very alive. Actually, all of Team Ico games, I'd say, have that. Oh, excuse me, Team Eco games. And,
how dare you mispronounce it?
I know. If you play The Last Guardian or Eco, you know that. You always have a companion with you that most people struggle with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're very unique.
Trico memes are very spicy. Although it's been a very long time since I played that game.
Yeah, we have some new The Last Guardian runners, so that's gonna be a lot of memes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Because Trico is unruly, very much so. But anyway, so yeah, this Colossus is a tough one. Speedrun, so it's you can mess it up very, very easily. Okay, nice. You got the jump to the face. That's much harder than it looks, but also, once you get used to it, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad once you get used to it. Although even getting on the face can be a little bit of a nightmare sometimes. I was worried there.
There's so many parts that you can mess up in this Colossus.
Nope, not doing that again.
So...
Nope. Okay, that should be fine.
Okay.
Making sure I don't mess up this stab. Yeah.
This is another case of very precise stabs to get the one cycle. So if you just stab away with full stabs, you're not gonna get a one cycle.
Nice.
Don't ask me why. It's very precise.
Yeah. So one thing that's kind of important to note is that you might not have been able to tell, but there's actually different speeds at which you can charge your stabs. And I actually, from playing the game from the PS2 version to now, I actually did about maybe 4 or 5 runs when I was first learning the game where I had no idea that charge stabs are a thing. So if you hold the stab button instead of just tapping it to start your stab, it'll actually charge much faster. And so we use the tap stab or the precision stab to get those very precise amounts of damage that we need for both Dirge and Pelagia. Hammer calls me a weenie because I use precision stabs for Pelagia, but I'd rather not mess it up at the end of the day. And
you gotta go for it, man.
No, just because you have the IL record doesn't mean anything, okay? Like I don't have to subject to your tyranny, all right? But no, Hammer's great. But yeah, it's a small time save, and it just optimizes it more. So we're going back to the forest again to my favorite Colossus, who I think a lot of the speedrunners in the community kind of consider like the casual favorite, just because it's Phalanx. It's kind of like more of a grandeur fight than it is tough at the end of the day. Really, it's a very simple fight overall, and it's kind of hard to mess up or die in. But I like it just for, like, you're flying through the air, going as quickly as you can. So it's my favorite Colossus. I think Hammer's least favorite, speedrun-wise.
No, it's not my least.
Not your least favorite? Okay.
No. I just think it's a little bit overrated. But
yeah, overrated is a good term. So
it's a great fight. Yeah, you'll see. It's actually the biggest Colossus.
Yep.
That's also another fact. Another sandy one, and I like
Sandy
the
boy.
Sandy boy, yes. Yep. And it's actually a pretty easy one cycle.
Yeah, you could load up this game and do it casually yourself. At the end of the day, all you have to do is a 1 full stab and like a 90% stab. It doesn't even have to be super precise. Just get kind of close to a full second stab, and do that for the first 2 sigils, and then do 2 full stabs on the last sigil, and it's dead. So overall, it's a pretty simple cycle. But the IL itself is actually another one of the super cool ones, because you're just flying around everywhere in the sky, and it's like, how are you not falling off for the most part? And as kind of like a general,
of that, we can maybe shout out Azama.
Yep.
Who got the sub 1 Phalanx.
Yep.
Recently, somewhat. And that's been a goal of his for a long time. So,
GG's.
And so he'll try to shoot the sacks here at the very start. I think you missed one. Yeah.
Nope, I did on purpose.
Of course, on purpose.
I did on purpose. So, turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left. No, dang. Alright, so one big thing we try to do in this game is, with any percent, it's a lot harder to mirror the IL strats, or... I missed it again. Wow.
This is also another RNG Colossus, so you can go left or right. In this case, it went right, which is bad. It makes you lose... say 20 seconds.
That's a nice little Pepega moment there. I was like, okay, no, you didn't turn left. And I'm like, what?
You missed one.
Well, I shot it again. I shot it again, and it was just like, nope. I thought it was on target, but that's what I get for assuming that I'm that good at this game. Oh no, Phalanx, why are you doing this?
Oh,
alright, we're just gonna quick turn around and turn around. There we go. Alright, we should be good. But yeah, one big thing we try to do is to mirror all of the individual level or IL strats for any percent. And some of them we can do, such as Hydrus, with the skip of just immediately getting on his head. We haven't been able to, like, 100% mirror Phalanx quite yet. Oh. Wow. This is great. The memes.
And
spicy memes.
Remember what you said? You said it's one of the easiest.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think... when Phalanx trolls you, it trolls you pretty hard, so that's kind of, it can troll you pretty hard, I should say, so it's, yeah, you can never be too safe at the end of the day, so...
This is your payback for that.
This is my payback for my karma for saying Phalanx is No, are you kidding me? Okay, that's fine. I accidentally pressed back on the left stick so that I did a backwards jump. So it's kind of a, again, eating my own words about
older, by the way.
Eating my own words. All right.
This was the best balance ever, of course.
Yeah, this is definitely, you know, IL pace Phalanx. But yeah, kind of going through this fight and jumping around like this is just something that's super cool.
You're getting shaken too.
I am. Yeah, it's, the memes never stop. Get me off this ride. I want off. I didn't sign up for this.
Okay, you should be fine for the 1 second.
Yeah, I'm good.
Least...
I think it's all like timing based from the first. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah. Once you get on him, you're fine. He will dive back into the sand if you do too much damage to the, or like actually kill the sigils. So it's kind of like it's similar to Dirge in that we do just enough damage overall across all 3 sigils to get the final kill. So you don't have to kill all the sigils on the Colossus to defeat them. You only have to at least defeat 1. So.
Well, in this case, it's because of the arrow shots at the start.
Yeah. Basically, the chip damage that we do with arrows makes sure that, you know, we can slightly beat that damage cap that's needed. So. Alright. And up next, we have the longest run to a Colossus, because Cenobia is in the far top left corner of the map. Although I would say one of like the prettier areas in the game too, overall.
And for this, there's a couple of routes that people take.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know which is faster.
I think Aiden timed it and proved that the.
Yeah, but he never released it. So
Oh, I just take his word for it. I'm being stubborn.
If he did a comparison, I haven't seen it. So
I think Tic Tac also helped that as well.
Yeah, we're gonna take the standard route.
Yeah. So yeah, the standard route takes you through Basaran's arena, so we get to say hi to Basaran's dead body and, you know, call it names and stuff because Basaran's a meanie.
Say hi.
Say hi. Say hi, bye.
And it's actually something that I've always liked in this game, that you can see, quote unquote, your work.
Yeah.
What you're
features. How you're butchering these wonderful creatures that are just minding their own business.
Yeah.
So
they don't disappear, so they're always there to remind you
of your dirty work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can actually go through and one thing that's kind of a cool thing that I wouldn't say most casual players do, but I think it's a cool concept overall, is that you can actually stop at the corpses of the dead Colossi, and you can refight them with your like new and improved stats instead of doing time attack, which forces you to only have the bow and the sword and the amount of health that you would have if you fought that Colossus, like, you know, at that point in time. So it's a cool little concept, and I think that's it's a cool addition, but it's not something that I think a lot of players do at the end of the day. So kind of sad, but I
did not know it when I first played this.
Yeah,
like on PS3.
I can't remember if I did it or not, but you got to do it for the platinum percent, or for the platinum trophy.
Yeah, at first I did it for the platinum. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Hi, Basaran. Oh yeah, it's a fun category, right? Yeah, 8 hours of my life gone away that I'll never get back.
Very fun. So yeah, hi, Basaran.
Hi and bye.
And you can see like how it turns back to like soil, and like little saplings start to grow. Colossi.
Yeah, it's very cool how like the different areas and like the ambience of the whole, like this entire world, like it's so empty and it's just you and Agro riding around and the animals that you can find, and so I think that just adds a lot to the game itself. The atmosphere is just insane, and it's just so gorgeous. Like this, when I played this back on PS2, like this is, as most people say nowadays when there's a remake, it's like, oh, this is what I imagined the game looked like, and this is again, they killed it with it, and this is everything I could have asked for.
Just wait for the PS11 remake.
PS11 remake,
that will truly blow your mind.
Yeah. VR.
Yes.
Ready Player One style. You are Wander.
4D.
4D. 4D Shadow of the Colossus.
They're gonna invent another dimension.
Just for this game. Just for the PS11.
So coming up, actually, it's the first glitch, maybe?
Yeah.
Do you consider the cutscene thing with Barba glitch?
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I guess. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like we don't have the source code to say why it happens. So you know, it's kind of weird to say if it's a glitch or not. But
so maybe the second glitch.
Yeah, we'll say it's the second glitch. This is the first glitch we just I guess we as a community discovered specifically for this game, which is pretty fun.
Before this skip was discovered, there were no glitches at all.
Yep.
And this was the first.
Oh, that was a great aggro run. Ooh, I should.
Yeah, I saw.
It's spicy. That makes me feel good. This is actually one of my favorite areas in the game, just because when I was a kid and I saw like if you you can actually look at the concept art for the originals versus the the remake and unlock them just by playing the game. If you look at the concept art for how this specific spot looked in the OG versus what it looked like back, what it looks like now, I couldn't believe how simple it looked back in the day, because I thought, like I said before, I thought it was drop dead gorgeous, the coolest thing that I was looking at, and I look at it now and I'm like, it's almost a little sad, but definitely the water itself and just kind of how clear it is and the clairvoyance of it is just absolutely beautiful. So
I think a lot of people love this Colossus for the arena here.
Yeah, definitely a gorgeous arena, and there's our Cenobia boy waiting for us gleefully.
There he is.
Okay, and we say bye. No formalities here. We just kind of run away. We have.
Yeah, we skip straight to the head.
Yeah, we got some murder to perform. So
let's see if I can explain this.
Yeah, it's a little
only
awkward.
try this if you're on 30 FPS, because it won't work on 60. So it's gonna try to like clip a little bit inside the pillar and then spam jump. The jump button.
No. There we go. That's fine. There we go.
Yeah. And he gets a very high jump like that.
Yeah, so we're basically clipping into like the bottom of the pillar, and then like literally the physics of us like being merged into it causes us to just kind of pop out. There are lots of other places in the game. I should shut up while I do the wacky jump. I missed it. No, I did get it, dang it. That's so sad. I didn't see myself, so I didn't hold jump. Alright.
So he basically does this thing while in the cutscene. Yeah, that thing. And, but it's okay. It wasn't that big of a mistake.
Yeah, it's easy to recover that, but I should be able to do that jump within the cutscene. And you can actually see Wander jump. If you were paying attention, it's kind of hard to notice if you don't look for what I'm doing, but you can actually see Wander like jumping over to the platform to get it.
It's exactly like the first Colossus, where you jump to the head during the cutscene.
Missed it again. Uh-oh. This isn't great, but it's fine. Alright. There we go. Alright, we're good. Got a plant.
You were too confident here.
Yeah, so. I was too confident. I haven't shown that off, done that well recently. I should practice it.
Too much.
But so here's a good example of a plant. Like I can just sit here with Wander and get shaken in the middle of a stab. So it's a good example of a plant while he tries to shake you off. I know a lot of people probably don't like the smaller Colossi overall because of the shakes that they do, but if you're able to get a plant,
like
yeah, people like it big. Big boys all around. But yeah, if you get that plant, it's easy. It just makes it so much easier. I guess one thing to explain about plants too is that once you're in a plant, don't crawl around, because once you start crawling around, that changes the I don't know how to explain it well, but that is what takes you out of your plant. So the easiest way to get a plant back on most Colossi is just to let go and re-grab, and then if you don't get shaken or Wander is like I would say the best like tell that I have, if he does a slow animation down to the body and grabs the fur, whereas you can kind of, if you don't have it, he'll just snap down really quick, and you can tell that you're kind of skipping some frames more or less of him grabbing. So that's the best way to explain it, I would say.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's again one of those things that you kind of just got to get a feel for, and if you're not looking for it, it's really hard to kind of know what's going on. So yeah. That skip, so that second skip that you saw me do where I jumped to the platform is actually also 2018 only because, again, of the added geometry of the, of the arenas, so. Whereas in the OG, it's just a flat wall, so. Thanks, Bluepoint, for adding rocks. And then there's Quad-Sid Body. You've probably seen him a few times, high and by. Sorry, buddy, but I don't like you. Yeah.
So Argus is an interesting one.
Very.
Casually is a bit of a pain. Yeah, and for a long time, he was the run killer of this game.
Yes, so bad.
For a long time.
Bad. Yeah, it's not that the strat was bad, it was just very awkward to get correctly, and they added an extra... So Argus, again, is the next Colossus. They added an extra condition, I'll say. So Argus has like a sword in his hand, and you have to make the sword fall out to get into the fur on the palm of his hand to stab it. And you can grab onto the fur with the sword in his hand, but it's very awkward sometimes. And in the OG, you could just stab the head and then like shoot an arrow at like the minor sigil on his arm to get him to knock the sword out. But in the remaster, they made it so that you have to actually like go through 2 portions of the puzzle to get the sword to be knocked out. So we just skip all that. The strat we do now is actually super cool. It's a little bit, it can be finicky sometimes, and it's one of those things where if you miss it once, it kind of like steamrolls or train wrecks it.
Colossus where it's like Basaran. If you mess up, you just throw yourself down.
Yeah, you kind of keep messing up, and then once you get it, you're like, not like this head in your hands sort of deal. So
it's a very convenient cliff, like right at the edge.
Yeah, so another area where we just say, okay, bye, let's just jump off this cliff right here and reset. So
exactly.
Yeah. Nice that the initial developers gave us those areas to kind of just retry as much as we want. So going through that little section right there. Oof, no. Not the stop sword switch. Going to that little section right there can be pretty tough. There's a lot of sections where I'll just so most of the time, the fastest way to move on aggro is actually not hold the go button. I'm actually mashing it constantly throughout this. And so during longer streams that I'm doing runs, I'll actually just like switch hands and like use a different, use my index finger or my other hand sometimes just to mash so I don't ruin my thumb.
If you start grinding this game, you'll get very good at mashing.
Yeah.
At one point or another.
Yeah, mashing is required in some sections, and while it's not like super, I wouldn't say it's the worst mashing game ever. You'll get very used to it. So, yep. But yeah, another long run for us to only stay at the end. Hopefully, Argus doesn't actually ever go past like a couple steps of the initial cutscene portion. So, see how well I do here.
A lot of people probably struggle with this puzzle.
Yeah, this puzzle is one of the cooler ones, I think, but it's definitely one of those ones that you don't realize how hard it is, or like it's just kind of hidden in plain sight, more or less.
First things first.
Oh, I don't like this grab.
The hand.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna reset.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a little bit awkward because jumping to the wrong side, or like if you don't go far enough to the left on his thigh, you'll just miss that initial jump. And while it's not the worst thing in the world, it's like it's hard to recover from because we need to have him in that specific animation basically to get it. So that's not the worst I've ever done. Sometimes it's easy just to miss it sometimes. So okay,
I remember that time you messed it up like 8 times in a row.
Yeah. All right, so we just jump straight to the hand. I do a full stab. Say hello. Jump back to the leg because we're going to use the leg for another launch. And let me shut up here while I get this, hopefully. Yes.
You will.
Oh, okay. That's not the best launch. Kind of bad, actually. Usually I want to jump like straight to his head. Oh, that's not great. All right, that's a time. That's somewhat of a big time loss, and I'm in a plant right now. Weirdly.
That's never happened before.
Yeah. Probably not. And I actually have a plant on his head now too. So.
I actually have never seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
No, that was pretty solid overall. Like, I'll take that at the end of the day. One reset, especially with what we said earlier of resetting on Argus can kind of train wreck you, and you'll do them like 6 or 7 times in a row. Like, I'm perfectly happy with that. Really hasn't been too many time losses in this run so far. Like, this is a pretty decent time. I'll probably get a sub 130 RTA.
And the leg launch is actually one of the first skips I learned.
Same, yeah. Argus's leg launch is actually very, very forgiving. So if you're trying to, if you ever decide to run this game, we would happily welcome you. But the leg launch is although some people don't like it too much, it's pretty like open for you to learn, and the timing's not too bad. You don't have to be as precise with how much you charge your side jump to actually get it. So whereas like Basaran,
it looks super cool, and that's a big factor.
Yeah, it is cool.
It looks so good.
Yeah, you can actually jump. So I didn't get a very good jump to the, or like I'll call it a yump, just because you kind of just get slingshotted up to his head. Sometimes you can just go directly to his head. I actually got a pretty poor launch there and got to the chest, which is why I got that shake animation. But otherwise, pretty dope. So yeah, Argus leg launch is pretty great. I was a little stubborn in the beginning, I think, learning the hand first, because that's actually that strat is exactly 1-to-1. I think -1 little hiccup, the IL strat. So that's pretty cool. So you can safely say if you've done that skip that you've done an Argus IL. So it's something cool to learn and kind of introduce yourself to how some of these like side jump skips work. So yep, we're on the last Colossus.
What an IL is.
Yeah. No, the individual levels. No, we've discussed it before, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is a speedrun in marathon, so yeah, I think we took it for granted, but it's okay.
Thanks for roasting me, Hammer. I always appreciate it.
We're already at the end of the run, though.
Yeah, it's gone by a lot faster than I thought. So
yeah.
And I can say people are really enjoying it in chat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You did it very well. So yeah. Don't mess up now.
Oh, here we go again. Don't mess up. He's gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
Cursed by my own chat moderator.
Yeah,
man.
Sir Foxy here got a world record yesterday, and he messed up this Colossus right here.
Yeah, and I got the hard part in my mind, which is like the initial run. So I think Malice is definitely one of the cooler Colossi at the end of the day to watch, just because as a casual, like, Malice is so scary. Like, as a kid playing this, like, I almost couldn't do the time attack for Malice just because I was so scared to get, like, knocked away by his bullets and, like, all this other stuff. And it was, like, such a mental game more than, like, it being a tough boss. But we're about to break on through to the other side, Creed's Clearwater Revival style. Oh my, that was such a boomer reference. I'm sorry. All my references are terrible.
I understood that. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Okay, cool. I'm not the only one. I did it. I made a decent reference. All right.
I'm too Gen Z to understand that.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on. What is he talking about? All right.
I'm just gonna ignore it and move on.
Yeah. All right.
Like most of the things you say.
Okay. Yeah, most of the gibberish that I'm spouting in my chat. Most of the times, like, what is he even talking about? Just ignore him and let him finish. Then we'll move on. All right.
You know what I see? A bad moon rising.
Oh, there we go. You're just lost now, Hammer. It's all right. You can leave.
I'm shaking my head.
I accept you as my new moderator if you're willing. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. So if we're gonna take Agro across this little bridge here, you know, as long as she decides to go. Yep, there we go. So Agro's gonna run with us across this bridge. It's gonna be pretty chill. You know, nothing bad's gonna happen. You know, she's just gonna land there and oh no, oh no. I don't know if I actually baited anybody in chat. Oof. Say bye-bye, horse. Get your F's in the chat. Bible thumps. Pablo.
Poor Pablo.
No. Not Pablo. Pepe hands.
Pepe hands in the chat.
Yeah, I will say, so as a casual, again, so many casual versus speedrunner things, obviously this scene initially like breaks your heart and like some people can't handle it. But speedrunning wise, like when aggro again runs into like those invisible walls or just, you know, just doesn't listen sometimes, like it's a very cathartic cutscene for us to watch and be like, yes, karma for all of the time you've lost me earlier in the run, which is pretty mean to say, but I mean, you know.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say I don't agree with this. So.
I don't agree with this. Somebody call
only roast Fox, not me. I'm out of this.
Yeah, he's not a part of my schemes. Somebody call PETA.
I don't want to be a part of this thing.
All right.
I'd say this is a very divisive Colossus. Like, half of the people I speak with hate him, and the other half absolutely adore Malice.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like the Malice run-up is pretty cool at the end of the day. And so I think that captures the all of people. So as I was saying earlier, everybody has their own kind of feel for how they do this game, but we kind of generally do the same stuff. I actually do something completely different from everybody else, and that was weird in this game. That was really weird. With a single part of this section. Yeah. For one specific section that I think Hammer will point out, that Hammer still roasts me for to this day, but I'll shut up while I get the skip done.
Wait, I forgot what it is. Is it the roll or the arrow? So it's a very specific lineup here. You have to follow a very specific path and time your rolls well and your whistles. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right there. So that was basically perfectly executed. So everybody else in the community, as soon as you land at that second portion, does a whistle. But for some reason, when I learned it, like way back in the day, I thought without looking at the IL or like previous stuff, I thought it was a roll. So I just learned how to time the roll and went with it. And so when people were like, "Oh yeah, just whistle," I'm like,
so much harder with a roll.
The roll is perfect. Let me tell you, like the roll is easy peasy, because I have visual cues of like where I'm supposed to be after my roll, and as long as I hit that, I know it's good. Don't listen to Ondor's lies. Bosch lives. There, I got a Final Fantasy reference in there. Although, not my favorite, but hey. Alright, let's not mess this up. So this exact portion yesterday is what actually lost me about 40 seconds in my run. So let's actually get this time. No!
With IL thing.
Yeah, so it's actually an IL skip that not everybody does, but it's fairly simple. The timing's just a little bit a little tight, because you have to make sure to jump onto the hand kind of as it's going down. And okay, we're just gonna deal with this. This is fine.
You trigger his arm by shooting the shoulder, and then you can grab it. It's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, the skip itself is pretty. It's easy to execute. There's a much easier way to do it, but that's the true IL strat that people go for.
Sure. Yeah, he's having a lot of issues right here.
I'm having a lot of issues right now. So I'm just going to go for the easy strat right now, just so I don't waste any more time.
I guess it's tradition to mess up Malice.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. So if you've seen Church Neo's run, he actually fell off Malice's hand and he got lost. Sorry, Church. Which was a little funny, but this is the strat that most people do. So instead of jumping from here and kind of trying to run up the hand, you can actually just...
He's doing the baby strat.
Yeah, this is the baby strat. You can just kind of easily jump up and grab onto the bracelet. So the skip that I was trying isn't super hard, but it is kind of timing based. Yeah, but as long as it works, this is fine. Like, that's something that you could easily do if you wanted to go like do a time trial Malice, and then you basically are guaranteed the plant on Malice as long as you grab towards the upper portion of the head.
If you start to learn this game, that skip right there, it's a good starter.
Yeah, because we, as you saw from the first Colossus, we just use a lot of like, you know, what's the best way to say it? Like balancing of like where the Colossi are and the not geometry, but how they react to jump up and down to kind of skip some portions. So
you're basically done.
Yep.
With the run.
Yep, so
one more section.
One more little section before the end. I don't care about the overall time, so I'm just gonna jump down this little section. You don't die if you do this. I've actually done this since the PS2 era, and I absolutely love this. So usually you actually see Wander hit the ground. Okay. Which I was wondering why I was falling so long right there. That was really weird. I've never had it go that long, but that's okay. Alright, so we get a little bit of story here, because there's horses, and then all of a sudden, oh no, we're a big monster.
This game has a story? What?
This game has a story? What are you talking about? It's not just kill Colossi, resurrect waifu. Yeah, if you want story in this game, just know kill big boys to save waifu. That's all you need to know.
What's the strat for this section?
Strat for this section is hold...
can you explain the very deep...
Turn right, walk forward, don't move. That's it. It's really easy to actually lose time here, because difficult. As you can actually see, like the lead, I won't call him bad guy, but the lead person in this group of people, his name is Iman, and his like guys with their crossbows can meme you pretty bad just by constantly shooting you. And so we basically just try to get out of the way and let them run away, because they run like super slow. You can see how they kind of just like let's see if I can get it. They're kind of just vape. Oh yeah, by the way, what's Dorman's favorite vape flavor? It's blue raspberry, chat. So vape nation. We do not condone vaping. Just to put that little disclaimer at the back. But yeah, Iman and his thugs and his thugs will shoot you a lot with their crossbows and kind of meme you. But yeah, time's coming up pretty soon. I'm gonna skip this cutscene, and then we're gonna do.
Yeah, it depends on the jankiness of this.
Yeah. So as soon as Wander hits the pool, that'll be time. So, it transitions to the cutscene. Okay. So you can kind of jump here. It's really finicky, but as you can see, Wander likes to roll around. But time.
Well done.
That's it. That is Shadow of the Colossus.
Just a second, I'll tell you your final time.
Just over 130.
Yep,
Dang.
it's a 1:30:09.
Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty good though. I'll take that. With the amount of the memes that I got in the run, I'll gladly take that for a marathon. So yeah, lots of time saved, and did pretty well. So the one sad thing about running this game is you have to. So because we use IGT, you can't skip this last cutscene. You actually have to go through and watch like the entire 10 minutes of it every single time. So little sad, but you know, hey, we wanted a little bit better. I was told that I needed to get a world record in this run, but obviously, you know, I'm not that great. So give us the corn. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm a little bit hungry actually.
Yeah. Oh wait,
I could go for some.
You go for some corn. All right. I'm kidding. Sorry, guys. If you've seen the corn memes in the chat, I have my PS4 theme is something called Corn Love, and everybody loves it. So. You can buy it on the PlayStation Store for like $4. So don't do that. Donate to this.
Shameless sponsor.
Yes, shameless. Yeah, I'm sponsored by Corn on the Cob. It's pretty chill.
Speaking of donations, we actually have one here. if you don't mind.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
Well, we have somebody listened to your Final Fantasy reference earlier in the run, and they donated $20. We don't know who it is. It's anonymous.
Oh.
But they say, "I'm Captain Bash von Rosenberg of Dalmasca." And that's
nice.
it. Thank you for your incredibly generous donation.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, thanks, guys. I don't not much to say here. Yeah, community's pretty great. So if you're interested in this game, really just hop into our Discord. It's linked on our speedrun.com page. Everybody is really, really, really nice, and we love helping people out and trying to give other stuff. So yeah, Bosch lives, guys. if you weren't aware, but we might get to a slight meme here if we have an extra moment. I can't remember if it happens right now or in a moment. Do you remember, Hummer?
Yeah, I think it happens now.
Right now. So
yeah, 2 seconds.
Twist of Fate, chat. Twist of Fate.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
It turns out we're wrong.
If it turns out we're wrong, I'm just sorry I wasted like 30 seconds of your life. It should happen like in a second. Come on.
10,000 hours in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I hold the world record for this game, by the way, and I just, I don't know what the end cutscene looks like at all. Yeah, by the way, imagine waking up after being dead, and you're like, yo, where's this at? Oh, here we go, we were right. Agro's alive! Bosch lives, and so does Agro, chat.
Top 10 anime plot twists.
Yeah, top 10 anime twists. Yeah, but as I said, thanks for watching, guys. Hummer and I are really honored to be here and, to run this for everybody. Yeah, been running it for basically since it came out, so it's pretty awesome to be here and kind of get to show it off. So yeah, let's wait 15 minutes for the IGT, but no, we definitely won't do that. But I don't think we really have anything else. Shout outs to Hammer, like I said, the community. Shout out to Zik, who's running this, who's doing the Spyro 2 run next. He's a good runner friend of mine, and when I first started running was like my competitor for one of the initial world records. So it's kind of cool to see how like everything kind of circles around and everything. So yeah, that's it from me. Thanks again, really appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Foxy. And from what I can see in chat, people have been just hanging about in the Shadow of the Colossus Discord, so I'm sure everybody enjoyed the run.
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming up next, we have the amazing, the illustrious Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. Let me remind you, you only have a few minutes to get your donations in for the soundtrack of your choosing. Again, the original soundtrack is still in the lead by just over $100 over the Reignited one. So if you like the Reignited one, give a donation for that. If you like the original one, why don't you boost that? We're $100 away from 16K, and I'd love to see that before the crowd control run where all hell will break loose. All hell will break loose. Yes, I can speak English. But that's far in the future. For now, we're just going to go through a quick intermission. You're just going to see your ads, and then we'll be right back with Spyro. So yeah, see you then.
Thanks, guys.